Hi everyone, I am about to make a dish called, what I call at least, and a lot of my friends call, is red tofu. What I'm about to show you is how I go about doing this and the product I use. This is a product that I get locally. It looks like little nuggets. They come in probably sizes about twice the size of this. It comes coated in a sauce. I tend to take everything off and rinse it off nicely to get all the coating off that it comes with, so I can flavor it the way I like and others like as well. At this point, these are cut up, dry, and while these are drying, what I do is put together the coating that's going to go around the nuggets. And what's in this mixture is a tandoori masala, which you can get at pretty much any Indian store. There's a little bit of salt in here. There's cornstarch to dry this nuggets out a little bit further, and a little bit of food coloring, where you can, if you get it at an Indian store, you're pretty much guaranteed that it's not going to contain any animal products. From this point, I will move the nuggets into a large Ziploc bag, put the powder in, and make sure everything's evenly coated. Once that's done, I'll let that sit for a while. Depending how much time I have, anywhere from half an hour to 2 hours. Letting it sit is not going to damage it. It's not going to do anything else to it except just let it sit and give you time to prepare ahead of time if you want to. And then once I'm ready and have time to cook it, I will go ahead and cook it. But the one thing you want to keep in mind is try to keep the coating on there for at least about a half an hour. And that should give it time for the cornstarch to do its job, to dry out the outside layer. All right, so I've got everything in the bag and I'm just transferring the powder into the larger bag. I probably won't use all of it. I think I made a little too much extra powder, and I mainly want to get this nicely coated. I try to leave the Ziploc bag with air in it, which gives me a little bit more room to get everything coated. From here, just the usual mixture. And if you take a close look here, you'll start seeing the color change already occurring. So that's going to start nicely getting coated, and once I start cooking, that color get more enhanced. The other thing I've got ready to go here is the mixture of lemon, garlic, and a little bit of red food coloring. So to this, depending on how things are smelling when I'm starting to cook, I might add some habanero. Oh, that's what I did forget. I added some habanero powder into the dry mix as well, which will add a lot of nice heat to it. One of the things I find about habanero is it adds a lot of heat, but does not necessarily change the flavor of what you're making. Same is true if you use white pepper. Now be careful with white pepper. If you get the one I get, at least, if it starts getting into air, you will start coughing and sneezing. Okay, so it's just been a minute or two since we mixed this piece together. You can see the color is actually drastically changed on the nuggets. As I mentioned earlier, the longer this sits, it will take its time to fully get incorporated into the nuggets, and it will really help with the look of the dish, and then the flavor gets enhanced as well. All right, so we're ready to cook this red tofu. The wok is nice and hot. I got all my utensils, and using, once again, avocado oil because of the smoke point. I'm not sure if you guys can see this, but probably a couple of tablespoons, maybe a tablespoon and a half. We'll get the oil going. It's already nice and hot because the wok is already hot. These peppers will go in, and you want to get them nice and brown. And what you'll notice when you do it at home is the peppers will start getting larger because they're soaking in the oil. And again, this is more to infuse the oil with the pepper to make it spicier. Spice level on this is going to determine on whatever you guys like. I like it extra spicy. If you want to tame it down, use less habanero, use less peppers. So you can kind of play with the ingredients that you're happy with. At this point, the tofu, it's been in here for about an hour, maybe a little bit longer, and it's ready to go in. You will hear this sizzle when you put it in, so be careful when you put it in. I'm going to start stirring this, coat the tofu with the oil. That way you start getting a nice brown crust. The peppers are starting to get to me a little bit here. I've got the fan off so you can actually hear me. But this will cook for about 3 to 5 minutes, and I'll continue to get it darker and darker and start building a crust on the outside of the tofu. All right, so this has been cooking for a couple of minutes, and if you can take a closer look here, you're starting to see the blackening and the outside of the tofu getting dark. At this point, what I'm gonna do is go ahead and add the garlic, lemon, and a little bit of the food coloring that's in this mixture, and some water just to liquefy a little bit to infuse some of this flavor into the tofu. And this will cook for another 5 to 10 minutes. You hear the sizzle. Make sure you get all your garlic in because I'm a big garlic fan. Oh, the aroma on this is amazing. So a lot of my friends have actually had this, and the ones that will get a chance to watch this, you know who you are. Yes, it tastes exactly like I've made it in the past. I wish I could be in a situation where I can share all this with you guys in person, but I guess I'll keep it for myself. All right, folks, this looks like it's almost done. I'm gonna wrap this up here. If you take a look at this color, you'll see a lot more the tofu areas that are crispy and delicious. It's gonna have a nice crunchy on the outside, nice softness like a chicken would on the inside. And if I could have you taste it, it'd be over the top. This is 100% vegan. It's extremely healthy. It's delicious. Try it. Message me if you have questions on the product or what I've used or any of my techniques. But enjoy, make it yourself, and play with the ingredients as you feel necessary. And by the way, my daughter did try this and she said it's really good. I'll take her word for it for now at least.